We are live. It's AP over here at Run Beer Sports, bringing to you the Lineup Builder Show with my guy Rubio Dimes and our partners Sabersim, which we have up. Rubio, what's going on, my man?
Oh, it's going great. I'm excited for this one here. I think you were talking about it a little bit like right before we started the show. And it feels like there's a good read on this slate, and I hope it's the same read that I have because there's a lot of comments that Kyle Shanahan made after the last game. It's a short week. Giants missing Saquon Barkley. There's a lot of variables here, AP. So it's an exciting Thursday game, even though it's a 12-point spread. Don't forget to get your survivor picks in. The 49ers could be the team to pick this week.
I mean, there's a couple big spreads, but again, Monday night was incredibly random and very, very unfortunate, obviously, for the Cleveland Browns and Nick Chubb. Just you hate to see that. Absolutely hate to see that. I mean, freaking Micah Fitzpatrick. I don't know. It's football. Like, there's dirty plays all the time. I don't think any of these guys are intentionally trying to injure people or in careers or anything like that. I think it was just more so like an unfortunate thing that we all hate to see. But in Showdown, we're trying to make money. We're trying to get different. And I think it was our guy Big T that was very high on Jerome Ford. I know after watching the Print Factory show that those guys do, that they're going to do later today, that he was very high on Ford. And so Showdown's all about, building out these scripts, talking through, trying to figure out how to get different. I mean, we got a Millie Maker up top in the $15, I believe, tonight. We're trying to win that thing, Rubio, and no one has been, we don't got John on the show, Sensational on the show today, and we all know we love talking him up, and he hates to hear it. He'll be on the Up to Lock show tonight with JBC, but we got Rubio Dimes in here. Rubio's been one of the best, lately, all year long, and especially at the Showdown slates. So I'm excited to break it down with you again, Rubio, because tonight's all about getting different if we can. But let's talk about this game. Let's get in here. I haven't done a base build yet. I feel very confident with how I see the game playing out, but get us started.
Yeah, perfect. Let's just go ahead and run, 150 teams, no restrictions at all. We'll go ahead and remove salary too. Where it puts us at.
Let me do one thing real quick. Octavius Bailey. So are you fading CMC? Now, no. I don't think Nick Chubb was, even though he got injured really fast in that game, wasn't he still on the optimal lineup?
I think he was not in the winner.
He was not in the winner? Okay. Depending on how large the contest field size was, because in smaller field stuff, single entry 3 max, he was in the winner. But let me give our guy Octavius Bailey a little stat here real quick. In the last, I think, 6 CMC games, he has been in the optimal lineup. He has been in the 7 in the last 7. 6 of the 7, he's been optimal in the flex spot, 1 of those in the captain spot. When you go back and you look at Christian McCaffrey, when he joined the 49ers, the new look 49ers, he has only been not optimal, I think, 4 times with the 49ers. And a few of those times were really, just strange games. So full on fading CMC, I don't know if I would do that on tonight's slate. But back to you, Rubio.
Yeah, let's see what the builds kind of spit out. Oh, well, all right. Maybe the secret is well known than Eli Mitchell. But 5-1 stack hits first build. We got Christian McCaffrey. Let's see the exposures here, too. Christian McCaffrey not in the captain at all, despite being 5 points ahead of Purdy, 5 points ahead of anyone else in the slate. He's hit the captain 0 times, AP. That's surprising to me. Obviously, we made no change or anything like that. But Eli Mitchell – he's our top captain. Jake Moody, kicker captain. Kind of shows you where the builds are panning out. It's a lot of cheaper captain today. I don't know if I'm going to attempt fate with that. Eli Mitchell is a guy I'm very interested in, and I'll get in why a little bit later. But yeah, I think this kind of makes sense. Obviously, the Ayuk news is definitely something that'll be important to track. But yeah, anything else that surprises you here? The Breida is it's kind of crazy.
Can you go back to the captains?
Yeah.
With these base builds, when we do them, I always want to see a few things. And one, we're getting a cheap captain. What does that tell us? It tells us that it's trying to jam in a lot of these higher priced guys, high usage guys in the flex spot, and that makes sense. So are we getting any Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, or Brock Purdy?
We're getting a very small amount of Deebo.
Because those are my 3 favorite captains. Yeah. Like, I think there's 4 viable captains tonight. I think, and again, I play single entry 3 max. If you're playing the Million Maker, you can open it up a little bit more, obviously. And you can use, I think it's Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, or Ayuk if he plays, Brock Purdy or Daniel Jones. Like that's like my captain pool. And I'm not seeing any of those guys in this list here. And I do think that Brandon Ayuk is a true game time decision. Is that right?
Yeah, it sounds like it's a true game time decision. That will impact Ronnie Bell got a significant chunk of snaps he played and all the snaps that Ayuk missed. And then Jawan Jennings also probably gets a small bump, even though he's their slot guy. So it won't be a direct bump because Ayuk's on the outside. But you got to think the targets go around to them. Ronnie Bell's interesting. I can't find a grade on him and how he did last week. He did not get a target, I don't think. So, yeah, I'm very curious to see Ronnie Bell because he was a stud in the preseason for us. And what you can see here is that it's pushing a lot of cheap captains on us. And then what if we gave Ronnie Bell like a projection, right? Like Daniel Bellinger, and Eric Gray, I both have projected at 1. But it seems like even in our Discord today, there was a lot of talk about, Daniel Bellinger and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why the hell are we talking about Daniel Bellinger? Well, you might need it on this slate. You might need a little bit of value if you're trying to fit in Christian McCaffrey or one of these stud captains. It's definitely something to track. So if Ayuk misses, we could even fiddle at that just so people are prepped. Like, what would we do with Ronnie Bell's projection? I mean, I like him a lot. He was very good at the university up north. But yeah, it's going to be a fun slate because of that reason, because we have these variables here.
Yeah, no, we do. And we're going to do a lot on this show. We're going to talk about different game scripts, how to get different. And that's, you're onto something there. Let me answer Jordan question right here. So again, we got to take notes on these shows. It was our guy, Big T, who talked about this the last time, or it was on the Morning Wood. And we were talking up, he was talking up, obviously, the 49 or the tight end position in the 49ers game. And what Big T said, a Kittle guy, always has a really good read on Kittle. We want to play Kittle in games where we think the 49ers are going to be trailing. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight. So I don't think it's a Kittle night. That's my opinion, at least. And I think Big T will agree with me. I'll be shocked if we hear him later on the Print Factory talking up Kittle. Do one more thing for me, and I think this is really important for tonight's slate. Go to stack exposures. I want to see what type of stacks that we're getting. So we're getting a lot of 5-1s and 4-2s. Now, hear me out on this, okay? In the CMC era with the 49ers, I looked at this. 32% of the time it's hitting 5-1. Isn't that insane? I think so I've been doing these. Go over to rumpier.sports.com. Go over to Optimal Showdown lineups. I've been doing these Optimal Showdown studies for each team. It's posted. It's live right now, and I'm trying to track different types of stats. How did we lose it?
No, I got it.
Oh, nice. Oh, I was. Hey, thanks, Ruby. I was more so talking to the people, but I'm glad you brought this up. Go down to the 49ers. Perfect. I got to fix the format in there. I just saw on the top part. Don't show the Giants. That's all. OCD. So I mean, just look at the 5-1s that we're seeing. So the most common construction that we've seen in we'll call it the CMC era with the 49ers, 4-2 and 5-1. 3-3 has been extremely uncommon since CMC has been there. And that's a lot of that has to do with how good this team is, how good their defense is, and what they try to do on offense. I feel like target share or rush and combined target share is highly predictable with what they're trying to do. It's CMC, it's Ayuk, it's Deebo, and then Brock Purdy just fills in, and their defense steps up and limits what the other team does. And that's kind of why we're seeing 5-1, 5-1, 4-2, 5-1, 4-2, 4-2. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
The first thing I notice, AP, is how often the 49ers defense is hitting these optimal teams. And a lot of people are going to be like, well, I'm never going to play a high-owned defense, blah, blah, blah. The 49ers have the best pass rush in the league right now, and the Giants' offensive line is awful. The 49ers defense has made fools of the Pittsburgh Steelers, can just basically get, 4 or 5 sacks and just round out a floor in a slate where the mid was weak. If anyone says, you never want to play a high-owned defense, I just look at how often this 49ers defense is optimal. Look at who they're playing tonight, missing their best offensive weapon. I don't see how. I'm going to be overweight on the 49ers defense. We can script that a little bit later, too. And the 5-1s here. This is crazy. Shout out Puka Nacua, too. I mean, what a stud.
I posted that chart. When I do these studies, I like to also pull up next gen stats because I want to, and I like looking at, okay, well, we had an opposing receiver in the captain spot, most recently against them. Well, I mean, there's no other offensive system out there like that where you're going to see a Puka Nacua type performance. You know what I mean? I don't think we have to worry about that tonight. So, but the other thing on your comment too, Nick Bosa, not Joey. He's going to add like from a matchup standpoint, he's facing ideally Evan Neal out of Alabama, and I think he's in his sophomore year. But grade-wise, he doesn't look too good. Like he's just going to feast in this matchup. There's going to be constant pressure on Daniel Jones. He's going to be running for his life. I think the defense is very viable tonight as well. So I'm with you.
Yeah, perfect. I think this defense, I don't want to hear any of the hoopla about, the 49ers defense, they're not done. But we just saw how many times in that chart where they were optimal, right? And this is as good of a match. Yeah, it's their double-digit point favorites. It's actually got to 10.5, which I am surprised about. But ultimately, this is a mismatch. This is a 49ers bash spot. This is what makes Showdown fun, is that you can go overweight. I mean, we did it in week 1, with the Cowboys against the Giants. Obviously, that was a Cowboys captain. But it just shows you how many times have people already been pissed off that a defense has been in the optimal this year? It's too many times. You think that trend
too many times
tonight?
Yeah, so I like tonight's thing too, and here's what a lot of people do. So a couple things, and going back to Kittle. So we all think, okay, how can we get different tonight? Because it's Showdown and we have to get different. And people, I think, naturally like to go to, okay, well, who else is getting the most target snaps, and potentially targets? Oh, well, let's go to a guy like George Kittle. And Jordan, this isn't, I'm not going at you at all. I'm just talking through what I think is common for a lot of us to think. Whereas I think Rubio, you already hinted at it at the start of the show and what the sharper route is in going. And that's in looking at a guy like Elijah Mitchell, the backup running back to Christian McCaffrey. I think that is if we're going 49er onslaughts, I think it's sharper to look at him. It's for a few reasons. Okay, a few reasons. It's a short week. I've already been surprised with the workload that Christian McCaffrey is getting on a short week when they're favored by double digits. Do we really think that Christian McCaffrey is going to get all of the work like he has been? I don't think so. I don't think we fade him. I think we still give him a very good projection. But I'm with you. I think Mitchell sees more snaps here, and I actually like his upside. But let me kick it over to you. What's your thoughts on the 49ers side tonight specifically, and then the overall game script?
So here's the biggest quote regarding Elijah Mitchell that I think I'm going to be super high on is Kyle Shanahan says the 49ers have to do a better job with their running back rotation. This is after Sunday's game. Elijah Mitchell didn't see any carries, and Shanahan said that is not the plan. What better time to give a guy more carries than a Thursday night game on a short week as a double-digit favorite? This is an Elijah Mitchell day. I'm completely sold on it. I think some other players too. We have
Screw it, Andrew. I'm just kidding. My guy Andrew Martinez in chat, just giving me shit.
But there's a lot of ways you can go with this. I know the onslaught isn't like the most fun thing in the world to build, if you're just doing 5-1s, because at the end of the day, 5-1s still only hit 30% of the time. The 49ers are a great team. I'm probably going to leave the 5-1s open today, but I'm still going to try and find a way to get these 4-2s and potentially 3-3s in. I think just on the 49er side of things, though, we just sort by price here. Let me go ahead and just add a filter so we can get all the scrubs out. Let's see. One. So this is the easy way to, if I ever want to not X anyone out, I can just hit the little eyeball and get rid of them. Jalen Hyatt's a little too pricey. I didn't love seeing that. But literally, look at this AP. I mean, I guess you can have Eric Gray and Daniel Bellinger in there, but there's hardly any value on this slate below Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, it does get tough. And I think the Giants side is definitely tough. I'm very high on the 5. For me, it's all 5-1 or 4-2. That's the route I'm pretty much locking in tonight. I have very little faith in the Giants. I mean, almost lost that game. I mean, they looked terrible in the first half against a really bad Cardinals team. Obviously Daniel Jones, Saquon got it going in the second half there, but no Saquon tonight. There's Matt Breida, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins, but can you just go and pull up? I want to see these price tags on the Giants side because we got to play one Giants player. And it's like when I ran one build before the show just to get an idea of what things would look like. I think I had their kicker in. It was a 5-1 with the Giants kicker is what I was looking at.
Yeah, I don't blame it. I mean, you see Daniel Jones, I love that he can run, so he's going to hit a lot of teams naked. I think that's fine. But we just saw it week 1, his receivers were much, cheaper, right? And Hodgins and them got going a little bit last week. We kind of saw the answer to what they want to do. These prices are still just uncomfortable. They don't make you excited to play any of them. Jalen Hyatt, 5,200, the rookie out of Tennessee. JSU loves him. Holden's in the chat saying, "Oh, you guys got to research Jalen Hyatt." Like he didn't, like we didn't grind best ball and stuff. But I don't know. Any of these receivers here just seem gross. AP, I don't think these prices are just good. I mean, not to say in an MME you don't play them, but in single entry and 3 max, it's just weird to me. I don't know. I don't know if I would touch them.
Yeah, I saw the Discord this morning was a complete stroke fest of Jalen Hyatt and, supported there by a guy, JSU. Where did he play college? Like Tennessee? Is that right? Okay. I was wondering if where he played college ball. Let's do this. Let's start building out a script. And I always like looking at when I do my single entry and 3 max, we go to projections first. It's what we have to do. And I want in single entry and 3 max, it's different if you're 115 and you're trying to hit the milli. It definitely is a different strategy. But in my single entry and 3 max, we always talk about building out that script and making sure our builds, if we're running 3 or just a single entry hero, matches the game script that we want. And so here, and I always like one at a time. So let's go to San Francisco first, since we do feel a little bit more confident in that side. What do we think about this? So we have Christian McCaffrey at 23.2. Obviously, home team favored by double digits. That very much aligns with an RB1 type of projection. What's your thoughts on what we're seeing with the RPS projection on him?
Yeah, I think it's solid. I'm looking at these numbers here. I mean, McCaffrey, if we think Eli Mitchell gets a little bit more work, we can probably bump him down just a couple points. But you saw he was hitting the flex. What was it, 98% of the time or something like that? So if we want to bump him down just a tad, I'm wondering how much of him I'll get McCaffrey tonight. And that's why we do the show, right? Is that if we bump up, Mitchell a couple points, just bump down, McCaffrey a couple points, right? Assume that 6 to 7 touches that McCaffrey would usually get go to Eli Mitchell plus some, right? I think that's what to do. I don't think it's a disastrous thing to do. I think we're going to end up with a lot of McCaffrey. I did want to throw it back to you though, because right now we have Ayuk 4 points below Debo. Probably not something that's probably injury cautioned into it, right? I think it has a little bit of injury concern. What do you want to Ayuk?
Here's what I think with Ayuk. I just think it being a short week, and I haven't reviewed the full Discord script. I know Holden was talking about how Ayuk is a true game time decision. We're working under assumptions. It's only 11:22 here. Obviously, we don't have all the news yet. Let's just say they rest him. Let's just build out that script because we want to get a little bit different. And let's just say, Juwan Jennings most likely the guy to get some extra shares, but I don't think just because Ayuk is out, we know they're going to be, working from ahead. At least we assume they're going to be working from ahead. I don't think we just one for one replace Ayuk's, projection and give that to Juwan Jennings. So I like the 7-point projection that you did there. If anything, I like being overly aggressive on Elijah Mitchell for sure. I think the kicker's fine. I want to be more aggressive on the 49ers defense. And now here's why. Defense, highly unpredictable, high variance. We all know that. Turnovers, very unpredictable. Even though the 49ers, they could win just like the Cowboys won, but there could be no, they could do that without having a defensive touchdown. That's a very realistic outcome. However, I do think their sack upside is really nice in this spot. And I don't know how the Giants are going to score points. I'm sure they'll put up some points. I think it's going to be a couple field goals. We'll see. But I don't know how they're going to score a lot of points on this 49ers team on a short rest without one of their best players, obviously, on their team. And their line is just absolute dog shit. So I think 11 for the 49ers is solid. I want to be under on Kittle. We've just seen that. I went actually when our guy Big T was talking about that on Sunday's show. I went over to StatMuse, and you can really simply look up, George Kittle game logs 2022, 21, whatever you want to look at, and you can look at those games. And if they're working from ahead, it's rarely a Kittle spot. It's just for some reason really, really. So the eye test. So our guy, shout out to Big T. The eye test there was definitely spot on. I like Debo. They're going to work him. He's worked in the passing game and rushing game. So obviously we like him, and I'm fine with Purdy. So maybe we give a bump to Debo just a little bit, like 18, 19.
Perfect. All right. Got that. We'll get him above Purdy so that way he hits. I'm going to throw in Ronnie Bell here. 7 routes last game, 27 snaps once Ayuk went down. I think he'll play the majority of the snaps on the outside. I think he'll play more than Juwan Jennings. And not to say he's going to be great or anything, but you saw how many of those cheap guys hit in our teams, right? I'm giving him a projection of 3. I think it's safe if we're playing Ayuk to miss, right? I think a projection of 3 is, very safe. I don't think it's going above and beyond. Juszczyk, obviously did nothing last week or anything too, but wondering if he could be a guy where, with all these cheap guys mixed in, maybe he's not the worst, because you look at it, he's always been a goal line guy. What if he flukes a touchdown here? I'll give him above my minimum projection of 1.1.
I think it's just so tough since they have CMC now. So again, let me pull up, just going back to, because he was optimal, but it was a Ayuk captain, and this was before the CMC era, as I kind of call it. It was before the Chiefs game, so whoever they played. Since then, we haven't seen him at all in any optimal lineups, in looking at every single showdown build that they've had, or game that they've had. So I don't know if that negative, like if he probably negatively correlates with CMC, and that makes a lot of sense there. But again, in the Millie Maker, I won't make fun of what anyone does. I won't. If you're running a Giants win script tonight in the Millie Maker, I'm not going to make fun of you. After what we've seen on Monday, on Thursdays, all last year, after what we've seen, I'm not making fun of anyone. I mean, if you want to go and burn some money by running double defense, double kicker, have it. I'm not going to do that, but I'm not going to make fun of someone if they do in the Millie Maker. If they did it in single entry, 3 max, and sometimes sometimes when I go and I look at the leaderboard and I look at the different types of builds, usually you do it right when the game starts, because whoever's at the top, they have the defenses. And whoever is way at the top in a single entry, like a 200, 300 person single entry, they have both defenses. And I'm just laughing because I'm like, I don't think we're going to see that tonight. I think we see one defense. I don't think it's going to be the Giants. You have the Giants side pulled up?
Yep, I got the Giants side pulled up right here. Our guy, Tiggle Biddies, kind of went into the chase. So Wandale 200, that's a good shout. Wandale looks to return from an ACL injury last year. Obviously,
Kentucky, Nebraska, or Nebraska first, and then Kentucky. The kid is absolute stud. But how much work is he going to get? Is he back tonight? Is he active?
He's going to be back tonight. He did very well in his rehab, and that's why they didn't keep him on the PUP. So that was a very promising sign. I'm not expecting a ton of work, but we can at least give him a projection of 1.1 or whatever. I think I think 2 could be safe because I think that when he's in, he'll push because
he's
very good for time.
So, and again, I'm not they don't have anyone like Puka, but the reason I looked at how did Puka do what he did? If you are the Giants and you're like, okay, we're not going to win this game by running the ball, we're just not. There's no way. You gotta do short passes, and can Daniel Jones do that? Does he have the discipline to be like a Matt Stafford and do that? I don't know if he does, but in that scenario, Wan'Dale Robinson is a guy that they could work in, and that 2 points, honestly, you could put it like a 3.3 in there because if he is actually playing, he would get short, quick targets. And I don't see him being on the field like a ton. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think two is fine. Definitely fine. I wouldn't do too much more than that unless we had more information. All right. So starting with Daniel Jones and a 16.8 projection, in my mind, just how I think of these things, how is he getting to that projection? He's got to run the ball, and he probably needs a rushing touchdown, right?
I agree. I think a rushing touchdown for sure.
Unless it happens in garbage time, I would rather under project him here. I don't know. What's your thoughts on Danny Dimes tonight?
We're high on the San Francisco defense. We mentioned how this is a complete mismatch for the offensive line. I'm with you. Let's bump them down 2 points.
Okay. I think that's perfectly fine. Waller, I think when people look at snap count and target share, I think they're going to like Darren Waller tonight. Our guy Snyder back in chat. Let me pull this up. Snyder, really sharp. 49ers, they've been elite versus the tight end. I think we go under on Waller. I'm not saying the exact same thing as the Cowboys game is going to happen, but I would not be surprised if it was somewhere close. So I want to be under on Waller. I think that's fine what we did there. I want to be under on Matt Breida.
Same.
I'd like 7, like 6, 7, something like that. And then what do we want to do with the receiving core here? Because I want them all to be. I want to be under on all of them, but I want them all to be somewhat similar because I'm not confident in any of these guys.
Yeah, so I got the snap counts pulled up. There's just snaps, not routes ran yet. I'll get that up here in a minute. 75% of the snaps went to Hodgins, 82% for Slayton, and then it dropped. Paris Campbell actually got 66%, and then Hyatt only got 21% of the work. Shepard with 15%. You think that Wan'Dale might come in and take that Shepard role. I think these look about right. They're scaled about right to what the snap counts were. I think Hyatt's a big play guy, so I'll give him a couple points bumps up. You might be thinking, I'm not a huge Hyatt guy. I can't say I hate him.
Let's just do it for JSU for Holden.
Exactly. We'll do it for JSU.
In the Discord.
And then I think we can I think we can do this. Kind of cluster them together.
Yep.
Obviously, we're not going to get a ton of Hodgins because it's the highest price guy. But if we cluster them together, it might pan to one of them. I think Slayton even at 6.75. Gano, this is why Gano's hitting your teams. Like none of these plays are comfortable at all, right? Gano could easily be the guy. Just a couple field goals, just drive him down, kicks 50-yarder. Next thing you know, he's off.
He might have to kick a 50-yarder because are they going to move the ball any further? Again, they'll probably find NFL. They'll probably find a way to score, or we'll see a script that we're all just blows our mind again. I don't think so, but it's the NFL. It's Thursday night. It's a short week. Anything can happen. I also think if they were to put up points, it's not out of the realm of possibilities that it's a defensive touchdown too. So I don't.
There's been a lot of hoopla about Purdy and stuff. He hasn't looked great these first 2 games. The 49ers offensive line pass blocking wise has not really been up to the standard that you'd expect. I don't hate making this Giants defense. This is why the double defense, thin line to walk, right? What if we just bump them up to 5? They get 3 sacks and they cause 1 turnover. Not the worst script in the world. Obviously, double defense. You just dogged it a second ago, but like, if there was a to be viable, and it's with this shitty wide receiving core, a tough matchup for Waller, and ultimately a team missing their best player.
Yeah, I mean, I was dogging it in like the $100 single entry that I like, $20K up top.
Yeah.
You'll see it every time. Every time I play Showdown, I'm in that, and I always laugh. I go right away. There's, people want that early screenshot or what have you, but it's always like a defensive captain and then the other defensive flex. Maybe it works tonight.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to think so this script really aligns with what we were talking, just kind of 49ers onslaught. It really on paper kind of checks a lot of boxes. Let's run this. Let's rerun the builds and see what we get over there. Yeah. Are you limiting your captain pool at all? Are you just like Xing anyone out, or are you just letting it do what it does?
I've been limiting. I don't know how much I'm going to limit tonight. You look at it here. I mean, I want to see what it spits out with no rules. Debo. Hey, there you go. You got your guy Debo.
Ah, baby. I mean, all right. So I stop talking our guy Big T up too much. But what's his saying? Like, sometimes we all overthink it. I really think tonight is one of those nights, and it's like, again, will this ship the Millie? No, probably not. Could it cash? Will it cash? Potentially cash. And this assumes Ayuk's out, which I would like a build like that if he is. I think you just take your cash and move on in single entry and 3-max. And I've had a lot of success with that already this year. My cash rate's actually been a lot higher. We just kind of running these strategies with the scripts that I see panning out tonight. A 5-1 script. Are we getting any? We're probably not getting any 4-2s, right?
We probably are. Yeah, there we go. We're getting 66% 5-1s. Holy shit!
Honestly, if I was running the Millie tonight too, I might do that just because people get so scared of like going all in on like 5-1s and 4-2s. Yeah. But it fits the mold just historically. And again, what happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again. But historically, I've never, in reviewing these teams, which I have a lot of them reviewed, I have not seen a team that has had so many 5-1 optimal lineup builds. And that's just how the 49ers are and the makeup of their team. So that 4-2 that's an interesting one. You have Debo, you have Danny, so you need a defensive touchdown there. I mean, we've seen crazier things happen than that. Isn't that crazy to think about?
That is. I mean, it's kind of absurd. When we just zoom into like the 4-2.
The only thing I would have done in that one build and change is I would put Wan'Dale Robinson in over Bell.
Yeah.
And that would be a really unique 3-3. Again, it doesn't fit the game script that I see happening. But again, it's a Millie Maker build. Not a single entry, not a 3-max.
This is the 3-3s here I just clicked. Obviously, it doesn't pop up until 41, 84, and 140. Holy cow, we only have 3-3-3. Jesus Christ.
They fit all the salary.
This is with the Giants defense hitting a bunch too. We just bumped up to 5. I might be buying into this defense propaganda that I've been spitting.
What, the Giants defense?
Double D tonight. I mean, goodness, just really just get in there with the double D. And this is a good.
Their defense sucks though. I won't, again, if I want to like use a few tickets and punt them off in the Millie Maker, I might.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I just don't know. Are we getting any? All right, go to the cat, like break it down by captains. I want to see what the ownership percentage is. Are we getting any Elijah Mitchell? Because someone in chat mentioned that. Now, what does that build look like with the Elijah Mitchell captain? I feel way more comfortable with CMC because if we're getting a value piece that's popping up, I feel more confident in like a CMC or Debo or even Purdy captain over like a punt or a value piece, like a backup running back.
It looks good. I mean, that actually looks pretty damn good if you're fading the 49ers defense at all of it.
Yeah, Danny Dimes. The other thing, too, to keep in mind with something like that, you are looking for who is the high, like in a 5-1 optimal where 5 is coming from the 49ers, you are looking for, if there's value out there, if there's value to make it work, you're looking for who is the highest score on the Giants side.
Yep.
I'd say it's likely to be Daniel Jones. So that's why that Elijah Mitchell captain actually is somewhat interesting on tonight's slate.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I know the Giants defense is shitty. We're not.
Yeah, I mean, Adam G knows what's up, Rubio.
We're just going.
Rubio. We got to get you away from that propaganda. I mean, the Cardinals, the dusty ass Cardinals, they hung 28.
You saw how low we projected those guys. The Giants defense is 3,400. We are 2 turnovers from that, and Brock Purdy will have 2 turnovers.
What did they score against Dak? Because he was horrible. Like Dak, like that's as bad as you can get. And what the Cowboys won like 40-0. I mean, he did turn it over a couple times, didn't he?
Let's see. Here we go. Giants defense performance. Their game log is -1. And both
I think
they've got negative.
Oh, -1. Yeah, so I think Bang Bang's talking about the optimal pass optimal showdown lineup sheet that we have over at Run Pure Sports. It's just a simple lineup study. We're looking at the Giants versus the 49ers, and we're looking at year to date or season to date optimal lineups in each game that they've played and 2022, all games from 2022. So you're going to see that all season long. Once the database is complete, I am going to look to find a way to maybe have every single team, if we can do it in a really simple, easy way, to have all teams, live on there at once. So my database is almost complete. When that happens, I think that would be interesting. It would be cool if you could change it to see the different matchups and how teams match up against each other. But again, right now it's just a simple sheet that's up at Run Pure Sports, just showing the last optimals from each team. All right, Rubio. Let's see where are we at. Let's talk about how do we get unique on a slate like this, where it's when we have chalky options, which the 49ers are going to be chalky. I see a few ways. And I did this, I think, last Showdown slate where I capped salary at 49,900. Is that something you ever do? Or how do you get unique when you're multi-entering in Showdown formats?
So what I usually do when I'm using the optimizer mode is that this could definitely be a slate where you're leaving a little bit of salary. I'm just looking at some of these values. It's a complete cliff off Eli Mitchell. So I wouldn't mind leaving a little bit of salary, but I'm not going to do that. But I'll just probably bump my uniques up, see where it takes me. I think we get a little bit different with Wandale, Ronnie Bell, just a little bit where people probably aren't going to be, too fast to catch up to that. Sharper players will, but ultimately I'm just trying to get the best lineups possible. Like JBC and them say, it's okay to chop 30K 10 times than it is to win 150K, 300K once, right? So I think that's been my philosophy toward it. And we'll see what the uniques kind of present here. I'm curious to see how much Eli Mitchell. So we had 4% Eli Mitchell last time, right? Now with the uniques bumped up, it's still the same Eli Mitchell, even just one. So it actually disperses the stud captains a lot more than I was expecting.
I like it. What do the CMC captains? God, the more I think about it, though, one thing I need to do is look at. So we talk about the lineup study review, looking back. What we need to do too is what were the coaching tendencies with star players on short weeks. So that's another thing that you can do. Actually, I think StatMuse is like half premium, half free now. Do you ever look at that? I look at it a lot for NBA, but
oh yeah, God,
StatMuse is
especially
we got to know what BVP is.
NBA, the NBA that's for Coach Speak and seeing trends throughout the season on back-to-backs and everything. That's why Kyle Shanahan giving us that little that Coach Speak about Eli Mitchell that night. I'm fully on board with that. I mean, props are up to 30s, low 30s now, or is it high 20s still for Eli Mitchell?
I mean, if the prop market is following it too, then that just solidifies the take there. And I think, honestly, what you have in our market, our Showdown market, is it's still going to go overlooked by a large part of the community that's playing, especially in the Millie Makers. So again, in the Millie Maker format, and it all comes down to what is your strategy, are you? I think a lot of people out there, if you just take for entertainment purposes, go build a couple and have fun with it. If you are, I think you want those Mitchell scripts in that Millie Maker, because I think in higher stakes stuff, assuming this coach speak continues on throughout the day and the narrative gets pumped up, don't you see him being higher owned in like single entry, 3-max, like the $300, $400 stuff?
Yeah, I do. I think that he'll go low owned in low stakes completely. In high stakes, I think Eli Mitchell comes in a little higher owned. His prop is now 30.5 on FanDuel. It just keeps trending up. I think this is definitely an interesting one where he needs to get in the box though, because he's not catching any passes for us. That's clear as day, right? Like I'd be shocked if Eli Mitchell catches any balls for us. We're not getting a ton of him, even with the 7-point projection. I wonder how much we'd have to project him for. Let's give him one more bump, make the uniques down to 2, and check it out. Let's see how much Eli Mitchell we pop up with.
What do we have Gary Brightwell at too? So, I mean, I only bring it up because against Dallas, and again, we think kind of a similar thing might happen here with the Giants. Yeah. And, I mean, he got in there. He got in there. He had 2 targets, 2 receptions, only 6 yards, but he had one rush attempt too for 5 yards. I'm not familiar with the other 2. They have Eric Gray and then Tywan Jones.
Tywan Jones is still in the league.
I said the same thing about Sterling Shepard that I think is still in the league.
I played in Madden with for like years. The dude's 35 years old. You're telling me that
how old?
In the league?
Oh my gosh!
I remember playing with him in like Madden 14 or some shit. This has been 11 years. He's
35.
He had speed on that, and that's why he's only relevant. He's relevant only for Madden. Damn it! He ran a 4.33.
That's insane.
His hometown is San Francisco.
That is insane. I mean, and as far as like the Giants running, but we don't think that they're going to be able to run on the 49ers. But Pat, if you have a read on who is going to get the most dump offs out of the backfield,
yeah,
I mean, I would bump that guy up.
A little bit more Eli Mitchell now. 45%, 8% the captain. Let's take a look at some of these teams here. I mean, this is the one that we looked at earlier. I want to see one with the 49ers defense. It has Waller in it, which we don't love. That's kind of a gross team. I don't really like Waller tonight either. God, these are so many lineups are leaving a ton of salary. It's kind of surprising.
I mean, if Gano can, Gano has a leg too. If he can knock in 250 yarders,
yeah,
and like if all their points are, I mean, you got to think he's live for at least 2 field goals, right?
Oh yeah, sure.
I mean, yeah, the Danny Dimes captain. If Dimes found something last week, which obviously to have a comeback like that against any team in the NFL is really impressive, maybe he just found something. And if he rushes into, like that's the other thing too, like there is a chance where it's a 5-1, but Danny Dimes is the optimal captain. I mean, it's out there. It's definitely out there. But I thought I saw one of your builds where it's, yeah, right down there. Can you go down to that build?
Yeah, which one? On the right side? Right here?
Right down. Yeah, I mean, we talked about this. So it was with Josh Allen where I ran the Jets defense against him, but I ran Allen in the captain spot, which is what I shipped with. I love that. Like, I absolutely love that. I don't like it tonight because I don't think the Giants are going to do much. But again, we're talking Millie Maker formats. I think you could run a 5-1 like that. I think it's definitely viable.
Definitely. I mean, you see these teams here. These are pretty nice. I mean, this one correlates completely. I think it's also underrated the fact that Eli Mitchell completely correlates with the 49ers defense because you're assuming they get ahead and just bashing heads, in the run game. Corey Holt just asked, what about Mason instead of Mitchell? This is going to be Mitchell's night. I don't see any maybe Mason gets a few snaps. I drafted him in best ball. But this is Mitchell after playing 0 snaps last game, and CMC played all of them. I think this is going to be Mitchell getting the biggest boost. It's been noted that Eli Mitchell is the one who's going to get the bump by Kyle Shanahan as well. So we don't really need to deal with Jordan Mason tonight. Despite having a couple 200 guys projected, I mean, maybe you can throw him in for a few snaps, but I don't think it'll matter too much. Another build that you could look at, and I'm just, you got to put the numbers in there and everything too, but just thinking of ways to get different and unique, you could run a 5-1 49ers, no Brock Purdy, but you're playing McCaffrey, Mitchell, Deebo Samuel, 3 guys who could all rush in for a touchdown.
and then you play the defense, and like with the Danny Dimes. I mean, again, we're talking how to get different. What are scripts that could be wild and could play out? That is one that I definitely think could. Now, I like Brock Purdy. I think this is a spot where they get him comfortable. But again, you're targeting that milli maker. You know, sometimes you have to just hand build these too. Like, think about Monday night. That was let's, throw back some drinks, maybe like 6, 7, 8, 9, and then let's start hand building our lineups. And we're going to land on 2 backup running backs, a chalk receiver, the lowest projected running back, rookie quarterback on the slate, and the opposing defense against them. And voila, you get your optimal build. But yeah, sometimes the hand builders went out when you get these really, really weird scripts that just, the sims and the projections just fail to see. So again, milli maker only. I said it a few times. I play single entry 3 max, but if I was doing the milli maker, that's probably what I would do. We have an aggressive schedule today that I got to highlight real quick. Rubio, like we always do. We got the cash show over at Run Pure Sports with Mangone and Third and Schlong. At 2 p.m., we have JSU, Big T, and Whistles Go Woo. At 7 p.m., we have our guy Statsational, JBC, and Holden, our man Holden. They'll be taking you up to lock tonight. Rubio, let's wrap this up. Let's give our final thoughts, our favorite captain plays, and maybe score prediction. I don't know. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's do them all. Let's knock them all out of the ballpark. I think the 49ers come in, take care of business. I think I'm going to do it. I know the Giants have got -1 in back-to-back games, and I am paying $3,400 for a potential negative. But I want to say that Purdy is not completely mistake-free. So I know that, when you guys can give me shit after the Giants get -1 or whatever, but I'm not going to take them out of my pool. I think I'm going to be overweight in the Giants defense, which is going to be completely different from the field because I don't really care for these Giants wide receivers too much. And I think score prediction wise, I think the books got this one right. I think it's going to be like kind of in that ballpark. I'm going to go 20. Actually, no, I'm going to go 31. I'll give Jake Moody a field goal. 31-17. And that way, we just get the over in there too. I assume it's going to go over if that's 48. Play of the day, Eli Mitchell. Eli Mitchell gets into the box. If he doesn't get into the box, I'm a failure. And he only gets 6 or 7 DK. Yeah, I think that sums it up for me. What about you?
Yeah, I think, man, I don't know how the Giants are going to move the ball. I think the 49ers are going to smash. I think the score, oh, man, that's tough. I think let's go with 31 to let's go 31-9. 3 field goals. Graham Gano optimal with the 49ers scoop and score. So defense optimal, kicker optimal. JBC is going to be rage tilting when it happens tonight, along with many others in the DFS community. I think my favorite captain is I want to find a way to get Christian McCaffrey or Deebo Samuel in there. So that's what I'm going to be focused on. But I do love the double running back build as well with Elijah Mitchell in there. If you haven't yet, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us out a lot over here at runpuresports.com. I know we don't have a promo going on the board right now. I believe RPS 15 is one that's just always alive. 15% off your first payment over here at Run Pure Sports. If you're watching the show, if you enjoy our content, if you want our premium content, use RPS 15. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. For Rubio Dimes, I'm AP. Run Pure.